with Mercury in Virgo, Mars in Virgo, but Mercury in Virgo, with that happening, let alone that it goes retrograde pretty soon here. For everybody, the communication style tends to be detailed and highly analytical, like, oriented to solving problems. That's the way Virgo is. Uh, and doing the dirty work there and getting into the details. And so a lot of communications is going to need to go on while we experience Mercury in Virgo, where, let me look at it here, if I can find it, where it's going to go retrograde. So it's like we've been doing something with the Venus and Leo, very intense. That's our love lives, and if you have enough freedom, you'll be able to move into the trance of being a child again and sorting. Well, that comes with sorting a lot of things out, but really, it's to just be able to play around and be creative and imaginative enough to work something out on your own, handling the truth and reality, what's there, who you are, getting back to. I wanted to say the roots, for sure that's coming with the fire energy, uh, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Very creative, and it needs that freedom to be most useful to all, the all. And so with Mercury in Virgo now, it's really good talking about the earth, the fire energy. What we need is earth. If you are ruled, by fire like I am, I'm fire ruled, and so the earth is really important, and so is water to be around, especially nowadays with all of the fire. But in general, that's kind of a rule, like, fire needs to be tamed. Otherwise, it just burns everything up, right? It needs to have water, create an atmosphere like that. And so with Mercury going retrograde in Virgo, which happens this August here, towards the end of the month. In fact, coming up this weekend, or let's see, well, I'm sorry, it's around about the uh, the 24th or 25th or something like this. It's looking like it's slowing down. And yeah, sometime next week. Is that next week? Yes. Where it's going to go retrograde, and I can feel it already. It's like it's time to communicate within your most personal selves. It may include talking to your partner or whoever it is in your life, but really the real communications needs to go on, and does go on, within yourself. Um, and it's because it's retrograde here. We already been through, and it's kind of getting near Neptune there, but it doesn't quite reach the opposition. It's going to go back, and it's actually trining. It's a loose trine with Uranus, and it's definitely a trine with Jupiter, which is really positive. That communications that is going to go on, that needs to go on, will serve in healing and creating a structure within each individual. Really, it's going to play out. You have to find out where all of this is happening in your house. But as a whole, um, really, it's the same for everybody. Like, see, I can just go general. For me, it's definitely playing out. It's crazy, that childhood. Just if you're a Libra, if you have a lot of Libra, which I do, tons, 5 planets and the sun there, to the point of denial. It's like, well, actually, I'm an Aries rising. I'm an Aries, okay, and that's the truth. The sun's light is creating this hologram. It's shining through your physical body, which is your physical body is your hologram. That is your rising sign. That's the sign that was you are when you were born. Doesn't that make sense? The very time of day. Not the day, but the time of day, and that's your rising sign. That's moving I keep explaining this, but this is why it makes sense to me. It's like, oh no, that's your real sign. It's when you were born, and your rising sign, the rising sign it goes through the whole zodiac once a day, and every 2 minutes it changes a degree, and say every half an hour or so, like that, it changes a whole sign. So I was born when the sign of Aries was rising, opposed the sun was setting in Libra. So it's quite the hologram, especially when I maintain a smile, right? The main problem that the human organism has is being the inner being too hard on themselves about things. And this is why we need to talk and communicate. And see, the thing about communications is it needs to be, you're not really communicating. Like the word commune, it's like community or commune is a very heavy duty word, like communion. It's to really connect. It's a two-way connection. But communicators, they tend to do they're reaching out more, right? They're maybe codependent in that way. They're depending on somebody that will hear them and say, yes, the sky is blue, good for you, and that's important. I don't think that that's a unhealthy thing or a bad thing to get a nod, instead of hanging each other on the cross. Boy, that's a hell of a fucking acknowledgement. I say just hold up a fish and a little wink and say, we've got it down, baby. We protect each other by, taking our right to remain reality, which is a silent movie. Therein, rising and falling is the truth, and we obey that. We could talk about this more. I mean, it's getting more and more easy to talk about because it takes a long time to finally understand how simple it is if you take the mind and the ego out of it. It's so much better. Now you'll say, oh, that's cool. What you mean is like you just start including the truth about the mind and ego, how that it can't contain the truth at all. And those things need to be set aside in order to see the truth, and any good scientist knows that. And the problem is us masters and Buddhists who beat around. See, we don't want to just be as simple as possible and hand you the Holy Grail. You have to figure it out. We're going to do metaphors and point with finger and stuff in the strangest lyric. And please find it yourself, man, because we are waiting for a lot everybody else to join with the living. What is that? Don't really want to know, because hi Jesus, is that you over there? God, why does it always go back to that? It's a conversation we have to have, but who's healing who?